Hi guys, this is Geek, Dhaba, and today we're reviewing Love, Death, and Robots Season 3. And if you're not tripped out by that, I don't know what else can trip you out because,
Yeah.
I mean, Season 1, Season 2, and now Season 3, the one thing that this show has kept really consistent is the amount of mind boggleness that they can do with their themes that they're introducing. Like, and with season 3 you will notice like the animation has just gone a huge notch up, like a
Mm,
huge notch up.
yes.
And the story has become gorier and more bloodier than the previous seasons. So what are your thoughts so far on the
Well, I
episodes?
agree there, but at the same time, I feel that they've been affected by the pandemic. The
Mm,
quality of the story itself, like the plot, it's kind of decreased. If we're going to compare it with previous seasons, like they have some really good episodes in here, but then there's a majority which are just like, all right, great animation, great visually. There's a flow, it makes sense, but it doesn't make you want more. Like in season one and season two, there were some episodes that you were like, they need to make a full show about this one particular episode. In season three, you're just like, okay, there's one or two episodes in here that are worth
I
looking
agree.
into.
I
Yeah.
agree. So if I was to ask you like what are your top two favorite, because I mean there's not much many episodes to go on for, so what are your top two
Yeah.
favorite episodes?
If you're gonna go with favorite, Mason's Rats.
Mason's
I
Rat. Okay.
I absolutely loved that episode. You're just like looking at it, and then you're just like, you start smiling towards the end, and you're just like, it gets crazier and crazier. It is great. In terms of animation, I really like Entombed. Like that is something that I would like to see a full show out of because that had potential. That
I agree.
was amazing.
And of
But then
course,
I think
Joe Manganiello was
Showstopper,
in it. Joe Manganiello.
yeah,
I
yeah,
hadn't seen any trailers or anything of that, so for
mhm,
me that was a huge surprise. Like, oh my God, Joe Manganiello is in there. So,
yeah. And the animation in that was fantastic. You're just
oof.
like, is that real? Is that what is that? That's really good animation. I think
and
the animation in this one was the best in throughout.
and I think
And
like we
then
are all like suckers for like secret locations, tombs. I think we are all suckers for that at some levels.
yeah,
So for us, that was like, yes, give us our ancient civilization, entombed
mm,
creatures, and
yes, the elder
forgotten.
ones.
Yes, exactly, exactly. So I kind of feel you there because entombed would be my second favorite
Hmm.
episode. And the
All
first, of
right.
course, being well, I would say mainstream as well, but Jibaru being like the first one for me,
Well, that
at
is the
least.
showstopper.
That
They
is the
intended
show.
it as that, and wow, it was fantastic. Like if you had given me three, I'd put this in there as well. And like this, I would have right next to Entombed. You know, neck by neck. But I had a feeling you'd say Jabbar, so I'm like, yeah, I'll take that out so you can say it.
Although to
Because wow,
Jibaru's
that
credit,
episode.
yeah, wow, that episode. But Jibaru's, I don't know if it was just me, but Jibaru's camera work was trippy. Like it takes a little, you
Just
know,
like,
getting used to that camera angle and those camera
oh,
movements. But like, man,
and the metaphor that it was. Oof, I think this is the most metaphorical episode I've ever seen
I
ever in
agree.
anything. And I'm gonna compare this with Black Mirror. Black Mirror included, I feel that this episode, the concept of the underlying metaphor. Oof, I think this is the most. I don't know what to call it, man. It's so
It's so thematic, like like there's so
like
many
the
themes that can emerge from
history.
it.
Like if you understand the history behind it, you're just like, yes, this is what happened. The Spanish came in and looted the countries and like the people, the gold and all that, like colonization. You're just like, bro, this
it,
is
and,
real.
and
This is
it's not
this.
just the historical aspect of it. Like you can go like metaphysical or abstract on that as well. Like when a knight, well, he's deaf, so the whole lure of the woman, it doesn't
Mm,
enchant him, and the woman is like interested, like, okay, there's somebody who can resist me.
mm,
I'm interested in that. And then suddenly the knight finds out, oh, okay, I'm immune to this person, so I can pretty much
mhm,
loot off whatever she has. And he drinks from her blood slash water or whatever it was, and
mm,
then suddenly his hearing recovers. But then you don't notice, like, opposed to being happy, he's being
Hmm.
overwhelmed by the world. Like,
Yeah.
it's just opposite of what you expect. And it just
Hmm.
breaks away so many mainstream ties. Like, yeah, just because he got something back, he got one sense back, doesn't mean that he's going to be happy and it's going to be like, it's going to be
Mm.
beneficial for him.
Okay, so if we're going to talk about the metaphor in this, I feel that it was like a knight who was deaf to the cries of the poor, the people who were raped and pillaged. And once he finally understands that what he's been doing, him and his entire crew have been doing to these people, the guilt of that is what he cannot handle. Like
True.
he's looting these people, he's stripping them of their resources. For
Very
what? For
true.
personal, like financial gain. Like what is that? Like I feel that that was the underlying message. I feel like Jabaro had the strongest message out of all.
I agree. And if I was to talk about like honorable mention, like if I was to
Mm-hmm.
ask you like an honorable mention, what would that one be?
I don't know, man. Like honorable mention, I don't think like three robots. I think the three robots one that was a throwback. That was throwback to season one. Okay, that was purely throwback to season one. That was fun. It's a fun thing to see them again. You're just like, oh, it's these guys again. It's like,
I actually want them in every season. Like I don't know,
yeah,
maybe
I
one or
feel
two
that they
episodes
should be there.
dedicated to them.
Mm,
But
definitely, like just to come in, just show us that you guys are fine, and then just it's
go off.
hilarious. It is hilarious. But the message in that was nice as well. You know how the rich move to these offshore locations and everything went sideways. It is absolutely hilarious. Yeah.
The one thing that I found really really humorous in that is the bunker that they go into, and they find out like how the Secretary of Agriculture had been eaten up or something, and I was just like,
What would be your honorable mention for this season?
mine would be the zombies, the zombies
Oh yes,
episode.
the
It's
zombies.
like
Because
the whole episode. I
it
was
is
just like this.
hilarious.
I was just like this. Like, okay, first of all, you're having sex in a graveyard. And then how does that translate to a full-scale zombie invasion?
You know what
I
I like the best part about this
yeah,
was the fact that everything was micro scale. So you could see the bigger picture the whole time. It's like it was very interesting choice in
in
camera
terms
angle.
camera
I don't know
angle,
how to.
animation style
Yeah,
probably, but it's kind of
yeah.
like a very diorama approach if you
Yeah,
think
yeah,
about
yeah.
it. But like
Definitely.
also another episode worth talking about is the swarm or the cluster. I'm
Swarm
forgetting
was
the
very interesting.
Swarm was
Swarm
interesting in a
is.
way. When the last sentence caught me, like,
Mhm.
there have been species before you who have tried to, like, invade us. So we studied them and we turned one of their own against them so
Yeah,
we could be protected. And I was just like, which real world
that's
scenario do I
evolution.
know? Like, that's
That is
evolution.
evolution right there.
That's
Yeah,
evolution right there.
straight up.
And I,
Let's move on to bad episodes.
if I was to say bad episode, I would go with like the bad traveling, because although it's animation style and again everything was amazing, it's just a very
Mhm.
generic story that you're like, okay, I kind of wanted the captain to suffer, like, guy
Mhm.
blows up the entire ship and sacrifices each of his crew and everything. Kind of wanted the guy to suffer, but he doesn't. So it's kind of like one of those things like, okay, it left me
I understood
wanting for
his
more.
choice. I did understand his choice, though. Would he rather sacrifice six people for many more? Like because he made the. I feel like he made the right choice. In the end,
It was the
abandon
right
your
choice, but for all the wrong reasons, I
for
would
all the
say.
wrong reasons. Yeah, it's weird. For me, the uh, kill team kill that was
Mm,
my lowest episode because it was just senseless shooting and like there's
it was
nothing that's
gore.
going.
It
It
was
was
just
gore.
gore.
There's no proper story coming out of that. Eh,
It's
that for me that
just
was my lowest episode.
it's just like when that signature blood and gore episode that
Yeah,
it has every season. So I kind of feel like it was that one. So
yeah,
yeah, but overall, I think this is a very, very good weekend binge watch. You
definitely.
can come back to it later as well, like if you want to like explore more themes
Mhm.
with that, but I think like Love, Death, and Robots have got a really good handle on like how they make their episodes and what kind of themes they approach. Black
Mhm.
Mirror might have gone a bit too extreme with that, where people will just be like, yeah, nah, this is making my reality a bit too much.
I
Love, Death,
mean,
and
is that
Robot.
not the best part about it? I
It
mean, are
is,
we
it
not
is.
living in season 6 right now? I mean, look at what's happening in our political world, the pandemic. I feel that, they're just like, let's just stream it directly into their brains, into the
Yeah.
world, into reality. It is absolutely hilarious.
Right, it is. But yeah, moving on to ratings. What would you give this season a rating? And for our
Overall,
viewers, we are
yeah,
rating this compared to the previous seasons, of course. So just before you guys come at us like, oh yeah, you're not rating each episode separately. No, we can't do that.
yeah,
It's
because that would
hard.
that would just be too many numbers,
Yeah,
and I'm not good at math,
neither am
despite
I.
my
I failed.
race. I think
No Asians were offended in the making of this joke.
uh,
Oh man.
overall, I think 8.5. I think would be a very, very fair score to give this.
I
Even
will
this is
give it a 7.
factoring in previous seasons as well. Even as a standalone, 8.5, I feel is a very, very solid score from my side.
Yeah,
What about
no,
you?
I agree. I agree. 8.5 is a very, very good score. It's like not exactly below average or average. It's definitely an above average show. It definitely has a stand of its own. It could
Mm,
work on like, probably going less on the path of like, gore, blood, and sex and all of that, and probably just have more like,
mind blasting.
mind-boggling concepts like, okay, there are paradigms, there are like, paradoxes that exist in the
Yes.
human mind and culture, so you never know. But yeah, I
Mm,
guess that's it from our side. We hope that you enjoyed the season as much as we did, and we'll
yeah.
see you in another review. Until then, take care and keep each other safe. See
Bye.
you.